What's happening? My name is Coach Borino. I'm a real estate trainer. I'm an author. I was a real estate agent just like you guys. I was out there in the trenches, getting leads, getting listings, getting buyers, trying to put transactions together. Excuse me. And now I'm here training you, helping you, making sure that you are rock stars, making money, everybody happy. All right, guys. So let me just do some housekeeping. All right. Welcome. Who is with us? Ada just joined us. Rolinda's here. Melissa, Dan, Anat, good morning. Good to see you, everybody. And here we have John and Hartana, Michael, Roxy. Hey, Roxy, good to see you. Anat is here and plenty of other people. Welcome, everybody. Good to have you. We do these training sessions for you to answer your questions, to help you. Now, this one goes out for all of you. I know, Roxy, you started with the question. How do I get into a higher end market? How do I establish myself in a neighborhood where it's a higher price point? Maybe you've never sold a house there before. Maybe you haven't been in real estate all that before. So I have a fancy presentation for you. Nothing to sell at the end, so don't worry about it. Put the credit cards away. Just to answer your questions and help you, help more clients, make more money. Be a good real estate agent. Cool? So with that, how about we get started? You guys are ready? Now this will be a regular training session for you. So let's get cranking. What do you say? All right. Cool. So you guys can see the slides and we can start. Nicholas, you're very welcome. Glad I can help. Here's my goal. This is what I want you to end up with. Ideas and practical tips how to have more appointments, more listings, and more commissions. What I teach is mainly focused on sellers. But if you do this, of course, the buyers will come naturally, and I'll show you how to do that. Fair? Now, of course, this is all my presentations. It will be rated R, so please don't get pissed off at me. This is how I speak. You want an authentic Borino? You're getting authentic Borino. Groovy? Groovy. So today, here's what you're going to learn. You're going to learn how to break into a higher price range, in a higher price neighborhood, whatever that means. Some of you, it can be 400,000, some of you 500,000. Here in my area where I live in Lake Barcroft, the homes are starting at about 750 and they go up to about 2.5 million. How to earn more per transactions, because as you see, the amount of work going into these high-end properties is about the same. There's not a whole lot of difference. What's nice is the paycheck is better. How to dominate that neighborhood. We're not going to be talking about just to get a listing here and there, but how to really control the neighborhood, be the authority there. Fair enough? Now, what I'm going to show you does not require a lot of expertise. You don't need a lot of experience. You do need to be a real estate expert. That means you need to know the basics. How do I get a listing sold? How do I prepare a good CMA? How do I sell a property? That's to be expected. But beyond that, this is not like you must be a 20-year veteran. Don't need to. But I will show you. We'll keep it easy. We keep it simple. I like simple. If it gets too complicated, I ain't doing shit. I'm not doing it. Now, if you have competition from other agents, that's okay. That is not an obstacle. So now, the number one reason you want to break into a higher end market is you want to earn more. You want to get more per commission. And the money's good. Don't ever apologize for wanting to make money. You're here to make money. This is a for-profit business you're running. So money is good. Money is an important equation. Never forget that you must make profit. But it has to be more than that. Money cannot be the sole driver, because if you become too stuck and too focused and too locked in just the commissions, just the paycheck, and everything comes with it, the freedom, the lifestyle, it's not enough. It has to go beyond just money. So go in and come in with the right mindset. When we talk about the systems and when I teach you all these things, start with the right mindset. That is the foundation of your success. So what is the right mindset? I can do this. Start with that. I can do this. Because if you come in and say, well, this is not going to work for me, my area is different, you don't understand, I can't do this. If you trip yourself up at the beginning, if you tie yourself down with these limiting beliefs, which is nothing else, it doesn't matter how fancy or how clever or how powerful the strategies and techniques I teach you are, it's not going to work. So start with, I can do this. And then transition as you're doing it, I will do this. I can do this. This is doable. That is the foundation. So start with that. Be open-minded. Understand that other people are doing it. There are other agents doing exactly what you're trying to do. Make more money, work with nice higher-end properties, earn more. People before you have done it. I've done it. I was chicken shit at first. I was really nervous. I'm not joking, guys. At the beginning, there was an area in my area. For those of you in Southern California, I was in Whittier, Pico Rivera. It's a suburb of Los Angeles, southeast part of Los Angeles. And for a long time, I was working, you know, the typical bread and butter, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-bedroom, even smaller homes. And that was what I was focused on because I was familiar with it. I was comfortable with it. We had an area, and it's still there, very nice, area called Friendly Hills. And there's a golf course on top of this hill. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. High-end golf course, really expensive. It's been there for many, many years. And some beautiful, nice custom homes, including Aurora Crest. Now, Aurora Crest was a private community with these gorgeous $1 million custom-built homes. And as a newer agent, forget the fact taking a listing there. I never even got in there. They had a gate, they had a guard. You know, it was one of those fancy schmancy things where on a clear day, you could see the Catalina Island, you could see the ocean, the reflection of the sun, and you could see the island. You can drive by if you there is a highway that goes past it and you can see it from the road. And I would look at it with awe, you know. But I felt always so intimidated. I'm not good enough. I'm not dressed enough. I was wearing my $50 Mervyn suit, driving my Honda Civic. Later, I moved into the clunker, you know, the story, my Cadillac. And so I felt always very intimidated and never really went after listings there. And it wasn't until I got an expired, well, I mustered the courage. There was an expired listing, mustered the courage, got in my little clunker, pull up to the driveway, and it was a Mercedes and a Rolls. Gorgeous. And I'm like, holy shit, these people make a month what I made last year. You know, there were a lot of attorneys, lawyers, doctors, business owners, high-end properties, old money. Funny revelation happened during that meeting. Number one, these people were lovely, they were friendly, they were kind, and I connected with them. They were just like you and I. I don't know, for some reason I thought they would have 2 heads, 7 hands, Rolex on every hand, diamonds everywhere, wallpaper made of $100 bills. No, they were just cool people. We had a nice conversation, but there was another thing. I listed that property. When I recommended, hey guys, it would really help if we could fix this door, and replace the carpet here. It would make the property look better. Because these people were more affluent and they were thinking like business people. They didn't live in the mindset of scarcity. They saw it as an investment from an advisor who knows what he's doing, yours truly. And to them, investing a couple $1,000s to fix a carpet, to fix a door, replace a carpet, and do some touch-ups to make the property more presentable wasn't that big of a deal. Now, for somebody who's making $40,000, $50,000 a year, that's a huge chunk of money. And of course, they're going to fight you more on it in some cases. So I've discovered nice people. If you price the property right, it's going to sell. You're going to make more money. Very often, these people are easier to work with when it comes to repairs and improvements to the house, staging, marketing, that kind of stuff. And it made perfect sense. And I was sitting there going, after we closed the transaction, like, what was I so intimidated by? We often put on us these limiting beliefs. I'm not good enough. I don't know enough. I don't look good enough. I have an accent. That was my thing. A lot of it was just bullshit, just the noise, just the stories in my head. I can't do this. Because underneath it, I had this limiting belief, money's hard to come by, and you're not good enough, and you don't know much about real estate. So fix the mindset first. Go in, understanding you've got what it takes. And if you don't know, there may be gaps of things you don't know. You can catch up. You can learn. You can educate yourself. You can brush up and get up to speed and compete with all these other agents, because I've discovered another thing. Many of the agents who worked in that area successfully, mind you, those are nice paychecks, you know, $15,000, $20,000, $30,000, sometimes more. Many of those agents were about as good as me, sometimes not even as good. What they were winning at was they were well known in the area. I will give you strategies today and tactics. We're going to talk about all that today, how you can position yourself as well as the authority there. It was all about relationships mostly. The agent was well known. They've done some business there. So today, the tactics and tips I'm going to share with you will help you become one of those agents. Fair enough? But start with the right mindset, friends. That is important. The right mindset. I can do this. I will do this. It's doable. All right. So, remember, money cannot be the only factor. Don't let that drive you. What else? What else drives you to break into this new area? Maybe you live there. Is that a possibility? You want to work your own neighborhood? You should. But it has to come also from contribution, connection, and goodwill. More than just the money. Don't ever let money be the only driving force. It is part of your business. It is not your business. So let's start with the homework. This is important. I don't want you to just jump in blindly. Hey, higher price range, more money, yay. Let's start with homework. What is the homework? How big of an area do you want to cover? If it's too small, you're not going to have enough turnover. You're going to work your ass off for very little return. If it's too big, you're going to bite too much, and you're not going to be able to service it properly. So decide. Is it going to be 300 homes area? Is it going to be geographical area? 500 homes, 1,000 homes, 2,000 homes? You decide. Then you need to know, are the homes selling? Are homes, I should say homes, are they selling? There may be some high-end properties where you're going to sit on a listing 6 months, 8 months, sometimes longer. So make sure before you get in, there is a good turnover. Properties are moving. This is something you can do in a few minutes on MLS. Shouldn't take more than that. You need to know, what is the DOM? What is the average DOM, days on the market? And this will not only help you determine, yes, I do want to work with, I want to establish myself in this area, but also when you have conversations with sellers, you can intelligently say, realistically, we can expect a good offer within 65 days. Okay? Next thing you need to know is, what is MAR? That stands for market absorption rate. This will help you determine, is it a buyer's market? Is it a seller's market, or is it even? In other words, do you have a lot of supply, not a whole lot of demand, or there's high demand, not a lot of supply? What is the market absorption rate? In other words, if there's not a new listing coming up, it doesn't hit the market in that area, how long would it take to sell the inventory you have? Is it 6 months, 4 months, 7 months? That number will tell you what is the trend of the market, where you're headed, and are you in a high demand, low supply, or vice versa. So do a little research. Next, you need to know, what is the markdown? That means, what is the usual difference in numbers and in dollars and in percentage between a list price and a sales price? Do you have a lot of price reductions there? Or are the offers above list price? You need to know that. What are the impact factors? These are the other factors other than the property itself that determine the list price and the sales price and the overall demand. Like in my area, schools are super important. Where we live, we are in a school district that's in high demand, very good schools, and that influences the demand for properties. Other amenities in the area, other things that may be deterring. You must be aware. You need to know. The more you know, the better. There is no such thing as knowing too much. And then finally, who dominates that area and why? Is there a single agent that controls the area? Here in my area, there isn't a single agent. There are about 4 or 5 realtors who do really well. A couple of them are friends of mine, my students. They do well here. I will show you actually later one of the marketing samples that they use to promote themselves throughout the neighborhood. But do your homework. Who owns that neighborhood? Like in Friendly Hills I was telling you about, there are about 3 or 4 agents who control a lot of the inventory. Do your homework. Do some research. Why do they dominate? What makes them stand out? What attracts typical seller to them and why? Your goal at the beginning is to position yourself as the expert. That's number 1. You must become the expert of, insert the name of the neighborhood. That means you don't have to be vastly different. You just need to be a little bit different. That's number 1. And number 2, you need to determine, what is your differentiating factor? What makes you a little bit unique, slightly different? Now, the good news is you don't need to be completely different. That's not the idea. Just different enough to get attention, create interest, build connections. And this will be different for each and every one of you because each and every one of you is different. It can be something as simple as taking a picture in a hat, in a lovely hat like my man Kobe does. He's one of my students on the path, and he's very much standing out in his marketing by simply wearing this cute straw hat. No, it's not a straw hat, but what is the name of the hat? I don't even know. Kilby, if you're here on the broadcast, what do you call those hats? And you can see his marketing. He posts here on Rockstars, he posts it on Path, and it's really cool. It really stands out. So what is it for you? Don't need to overthink this. Doesn't need to be complicated. Doesn't need to be elaborate $10,000 marketing campaign, but something that helps you reposition yourself from your competition. That's the homework. Once you're done with this, and again, this shouldn't take you 2 weeks. You can be done in one afternoon with all this, if you hustle. Then put together a plan. Oh, Kilby, here you are. It's Panama or Fedora. I see, cool. Panama, I like the Panama. Panama. You know, one of those cool 30s or 20s, 30s, right? Makes you stand out. It's very clever. I like it. So now let's come up with a plan. Again, we're going to keep it simple. The principle I teach you guys is based on MCA, Multi-Channel Approach. Here's the thing. We'll use my neighborhood as an example. Where I live, I'm just outside of Washington, D.C., and it's a neighborhood called Lake Barcroft. We have a lake here, and there are about 2,000 homes in the general area. There are about 600 in the actual community of the Lake Barcroft. And majority of the people who live here, who own homes here, are in their 50s and 60s. That's the majority. Usually professionals, business owners, some retired, some senior government workers, politicians. The reason you need to incorporate multi-channel marketing is because you will not reach as many people in the community using just single channel. So what multi-channel marketing means, let's say you decide one day, I want to break into Lake Barcroft neighborhood. If I were to do that, I would incorporate all kinds of channels, and I'll give you examples of what I mean. But they need to be a combination of traditional marketing, traditional advertising, traditional communication with the modern one. The reason is many of my friends and neighbors who live here, for example, are not on Facebook. So if your focus would be, let's just do social media, heavy on video, go social, you would miss probably half of the people. Some cannot be on social media because they work for the government like CIA, FBI, they're senior executives from consulting firms, security. There are a lot of senators here, congressmen, those kind of people. So their social media is very controlled and they don't consume. That's why agents like my friend Lisa, and I'll show you this in just a moment, uses traditional methods in addition to social media. That doesn't mean you shouldn't use it. Just understand that reaching as many people as you need to reach based on the plan, and we'll talk about planning, will require a multi-channel approach. There is not a single answer. There's not like all eggs in one basket. You need to have a whole bunch of baskets, a whole bunch of hooks in the water. Does that make sense? So be ready that it's going to require, based on a profile of the neighborhood, multi-channel approach. It is the best way to do that. Okay. Come up with a branding that resonates, where you position yourself as the neighborhood expert, as somebody who can be trusted. Now, I like to incorporate the name of the neighborhood, so if I were to do it here in my area, I would start branding myself Lake Neighborhood Neighbor and Specialist. I live here, and I specialize here. Now, it is a little bit corny, and I just spent like 2 minutes trying to figure this out. If you spend more than 2 minutes, if you invest 10 minutes, you could probably come up with a better name than that. But this is good enough. Once you have this figured out, you're going to come up with 3 plans. It'll be a 3-part plan. A weekly plan. What am I going to do weekly? 7-day plan. A monthly plan that's based on the weekly. And then a 90-day plan. You're going to have 3 plans. So the 90-day plan will be like a general overview. These are the main activities, main actions, main strategies that I want to deploy. You're going to break it down into monthly and then weekly. And then weekly, of course, will go on your daily calendar based on daily activities you need to accomplish. The process you're going to follow is you plan it, you implement it, meaning you go out and work, you actually get it done. Then you analyze it, adjust based on the analysis. This is working really well. We send these postcards, we got good response. Then you come up with plan 2.0. Based on the results, adjust what doesn't work, fix what doesn't work, do more of what works, and jettison, delete what is not performing, what's a failure. And it might as well be a newsletter or might as well be open house. It doesn't work in certain areas. You need to decide, is it the execution or is it the marketing channel does not resonate with the neighborhood? You will decipher that. And then you implement plan 2.0. You analyze that, then you adjust, and you just keep going. So rather than waiting for perfection, waiting for the final thing to finally magically be done where you deploy it, and wasting 6 months while everybody else is taking listings and doing business, you simply plan, implement, analyze, adjust. Plan, implement, analyze, adjust, and you just keep going. And every 7 days, you just quickly evaluate. Then every 30 days, you replan. So, okay, let me look at the last 30 days. How are we doing on this? Am I getting closer to my goals? Am I getting listings? Am I getting leads in that neighborhood? Those should be the three factors by which you're going to measure if the campaign is successful or not. You're going to focus on how many leads are you getting in that neighborhood? How many of those are prospects, meaning people you actually spoke with? How many appointments are you going on? Appointments. And how many appointments are you turning into listings? Okay, so you evaluate. That's how you measure. Every 30 days, say, okay, we got 27 new listings. Out of those 27 leads, that'd be good, nice, 27 listings. 27 leads, 20 of those we turn into prospects. There's some kind of communication connection built. Out of those 20, we got 4 appointments and 1 listing. That's not a bad start, right? That's not bad. That's how you start. So you set these as key indicators, key performance indicators, key KPI. Leads, prospects, appointments, listings. Base it on that. You don't need to make it any more complicated than that. All right? So that's the plan. Remember, plan, build, implement, adjust. Build as you go. Don't go in thinking, I got to get this all figured out. I got to get it all built. All 6 months of marketing need to be pre-planned. Don't do that. Just the next step, next 2 steps. Yes, have the big picture, the big overview of what approximately are you after. What are your goals in terms of listings, money, appointments, leads. But build it as you go. You don't need to have the entire sequence planned. Just what are the next couple of steps? Where are we going with this in general? And what is my next step? This will help you avoid the procrastination because you seek perfection. That's the paralysis because you're seeking perfection. Don't do that. Next step. So here's a practical strategy. We're going to use the multi-channel approach. All of it needs to be delivered based on value. Start with value. Rather than saying, hey, who do you know wants to list? I'm a new expert in your area. Give me listings, give me money. Contribute first. Deliver value first. Deliver something interesting first. Deliver something that will better somebody's lives in some way. If it means to entertain them, that's great. If it means deliver some helpful information, that's awesome. But start with how can I contribute rather than what can I take? How can I contribute? What do I have to offer? Start with that. Always focus on that. And this needs to be part of your marketing. This needs to be part of your communication. This needs to be part of all the strategies you're deploying. And you're going to divide it into one-to-one. There would be you talking to one person at a time. Because real estate is still a people business. It's still the best way to build trust and connection. That means go door knock. Talk to some people. Get to know the neighborhood. Get to know the people who live there. Do a good open house if you can. Doesn't need to be your listing. Just one good open house. Attend social events. Here in my area, there's a very lively and very vibrant social community. Haunted houses, we have ice cream socials, there are all kinds of gatherings, block parties. Attend those, get to know the people, because at the end, you're not after the neighborhood, you're after developing connections with those people in that neighborhood. And then you have campaigns, one-to-many. That's going to be direct mail, social media, Facebook ads, building digital community, all that. Both are important. Both should be part of your mix. And based on your goals, you decide, I'm going to invest this much time, money, effort in here, and this much time, money, and effort here. Then I'll show you a strategy called foot in the door, because if you don't have any listings, if you haven't done any business there, there has to be a wedge that gets you in. And then expansion and domination. So it's a 2-step process, 2 phases. So phase 1 is the foot in the door. Where do you get started? After you've done your homework and after you came up with some ideas, this is how I want to position myself, here's what I'm thinking about doing, let's figure out. Start with the easy ones. This will get you a foot in the door the fastest. This is the easiest, fastest way to establish yourself, is to get your name on the signs throughout the neighborhood. People start paying attention. Oh, Roxy's taking listings in our neighborhood. We're thinking about selling. That name sounds familiar. So go after the easy ones, people who are already doing it. If you have FSBOs there, new expireds, old expireds, you can go back 6 months, a year, 2 years, doesn't matter. Start talking to those people. That will get you up very, very quickly. Any friends, acquaintances, or connections you have in that neighborhood. Just get to know the people. And this is not about shoving your business card down their throat. This is about 4 things. They need to know 4 things about you. And this is vital, and this is important not just with neighborhood marketing or expired marketing, but across the board. So here's what they need to know about you. Number 1, who you are. They need to know your name. They need to know your face. Number 2, what you do. What do you do? They need to know that you're helping people in this neighborhood if they're thinking about selling, if they're thinking about buying, if they need any resources, information. You're the person to go to. How to get in touch with you. Because they can know you. They can be like, oh, yeah. I remember Colby. He's a real estate agent. But if they don't know how to get hold of you when the time comes to either get information or even worse, make a decision, you're screwed. And the whole thing this stands on, number 4, is why they can trust you. And that's the secret. Through your marketing, your communication, all your campaigns need to address who you are, what you do, how to get in touch with you, and why you can be trusted. Best way to build trust, if you can, face-to-face of course, is testimonials, endorsements, evidence. Testimonials, endorsements, evidence. Because it's one thing if you go out and tell the neighborhood, hey, I sell million homes. And it's something very different if Susie and John, who own the house in the neighborhood, says, you know what, we hired Roxy. And after 2 other agents who couldn't sell our house, she came in, and in 60 days we had a phenomenal offer on the table. We were super happy with her approach. We trusted her. She guided us through the entire process, took care of all the details. Even when we hit a couple of snags, she had the resources and the people on ready who helped us. We are super happy. We got a great price for our house, sold it quickly. We highly recommend her. Bam. Instantly. Trust established. Expertise established. Positioning established. So if you can, get some testimonials. Now here's the best part about testimonials. If you can get them from people who live in that neighborhood, that's fantastic. But it's not essential. If just 2 people who are sellers, where if I'm thinking about selling, I can associate with, and somebody tells me, we hired her because she did a great job, you should hire her as well. That's good enough. It's good enough. Even that will deliver the message, who you are, what you do, how to get in touch with you, and why you can be trusted. It's very powerful. Evidence. All right? Is that helpful, guys? Are you learning? Writing notes? Mr. Mike Cribbin, good to see you, sir. All right, next, do an open house if you can. Because this will allow you to promote the open house, get to know the neighbors, pass out some flyers, talk to people, set up a good open house where you get a good turnover. Why? Because several people who come to your open house are people who are not thinking about buying that house, who are curious, what are the homes selling for, who you are, what needs to be done before they sell. Because several of these folks, like here in my area, people tend to live here for a very long time, 15, 20 years. It's not uncommon. So the way they bought the house and the way the homes were sold when they were on the market has changed dramatically. It's a completely different world and very strange to them, very foreign. So they come to your open house to kind of explore. And they may not be ready right away, but through good follow-up, good CRM campaigns, through conversations, you can be there when they're ready. Open house can be a fantastic way to get your foot in the door. Always use the opportunity. Door knocking, good old-fashioned door knocking. Go meet some people, pass out some flyers, let them know what's going on in the neighborhood. Here's an offer if you're ever thinking about selling or just curious what the homes are going for. Just text to this number and we'll send you the information. Low pressure, no fear offer. Attend any neighborhood events like sport events, kids events, social activities. Become part of the community. Before you can become the agent, become the member. This shows that you genuinely care. Where you shake hands, you talk to people, you get interested in them. Before they are curious about you, you be curious about them. And then if you haven't listed or sold anything there, but your company has, just use that. Heck, I'll show you. This is my friend Lisa. Watch this. This is what she does. She puts together a newsletter like this one. Really nicely done. It's colorful, beautifully printed, looks really nice. A lot of these are not her listings. Sometimes she puts one together like this with her listing specifically, and those are awesome, or sales. But sometimes she just does neighborhood update. What's going on in the neighborhood, you can do the same. They don't need to be your sales. Now be transparent about it. Don't ever lie. You don't need to mislead anyone. But be creative. Just let people know what's going on. You know why that's effective? It has to do with human psychology. We do associate the message with the messenger. You can say all you want, don't kill the messenger. Yes, if you deliver bad news, they're going to kill you. But just like that with good news, hey, homes are selling. People are getting good price. It doesn't take too long to sell. Here's some evidence. If you're thinking about selling, or if you're just kind of curious, let me know. We can talk. Yeah? So you can send these. You can deliver these. You can door knock those. There are all kinds of ways to do that. This will all get your foot in the door. Next, create or join a neighborhood Facebook group. I'll show you in just a moment how my friend Nicole does that very effectively in a very competitive Northern California market, where people gather, exchange ideas. Hey, I have a yard sale. Hey, we have a haunted house. Hey, Susan and Jack are getting married. Wait a minute, Susan is my girlfriend. Start producing videos with newsletters, updates, any type of cool information, what's going on in the area. Start publishing these, where you become the authority. You become the person to go to for resources and information. And then include passive advertising. There can be a church newsletter, local newsletter. Lake Barcroft community has a newsletter where many agents advertise, not that many, but several advertise. And if you have the budget for it, even put a bench ad in the neighborhood or run a billboard. I'm not a huge fan of passive advertising, but if you have the budget for it and you want to do a good heavy market push in combination, and this is important, in combination with other initiatives and campaigns, it can support it. Now, nobody's going to list their house with you because you have a bench ad in the neighborhood. But if you talk to somebody who comes to your open house and suddenly they go, wait a second, you look familiar to me. Do you have that bench ad there? Boom. Mission accomplished. Okay? So this is what it looks like. This is my friend Nicole. She lives in a town called Livermore, California, and she has this nice little community. Now check this out. 9,899 active members. And they have their own logo, they have their own t-shirt. Everybody posts community events, questions. And she doesn't go out blaring, hey, I'm a real estate agent. People know that she is. People know that she's running the group. But the group is to benefit, to contribute, to provide value first. Just like us here on Rockstars. You guys know I'm a real estate coach. You know I have several programs you can buy. You can sign up for my training. You know all that. But I'm not here to blast that and shove it down your throat. I provide value first. And then if you later decide to come on board and do the path with me or do the training, buy one of my systems, that's awesome. Same principle. Give first. Best method, meet people. Talk to people. The good old-fashioned belly-to-belly, eye-to-eye is still the most effective method. Whenever there is an opportunity, there is a neighborhood sale, yard sale, Halloween party, Christmas party, get to know the people in the community you want to serve. Talk to people. People will like you, trust you, and respect you because they know you. Fastest way to do that is personal connection. With all these phenomenal tools, yes, you should text, yes, you should send emails, yes, you should make videos, all that helps. But face-to-face, human touch, human conversation, human connection trumps all. Next, approach this all with patience. Establishing yourself and dominating a neighborhood, and especially expanding and then controlling it, is a long game. It's not going to happen in a few weeks. It's going to take time, it's going to take effort, it's going to take work. And it's easy to get discouraged because you may not get results right away. Sometimes you get lucky and that's awesome. You go in with the mindset, yes, I can do this and eventually I will do this. But if it doesn't happen right away, don't get discouraged by the immediate lack of results or evidence that it's working. Remember, you're building long-term trust, long-term relationship. You know, it took me years to become an A-list coach and real estate trainer who people recognize, who they trust, who they come to. It didn't happen overnight. It took 600 videos on YouTube to get to that point. It took a group like you guys where we have our community here of 35,000 members. So it's going to take time. Don't get discouraged. Stay with it. But remember what I said. Plan, implement, evaluate, and adjust. That means don't just blindly keep doing something. If the shit is not working, analyze where is it not working. And maybe the answer is you just need to give it a little more time. It is a long game. So that means apply this as parallel efforts. I don't want you to kill what's already working. If you already have a funnel, if you have a source of business, or if you work an area that is lower price range, but you're getting listings there, so don't stop. You can either transition or expand this. So it's not a cutover where you kill the golden goose. It is about transitioning. And then just keep doing what works. That's the secret, my friends. And that's how you do it. Be ready, there'll be bumps down the road. Nothing is perfect at first. It's going to take some time. It took me a while how to teach you stuff. That was my big challenge when I became a real estate coach, way back then. It took a while. Just like with you. This all going to take a little bit of time, a little bit of finessing, massaging, evaluating. But remember, if other people have done it, who are no smarter than you in many cases, not as good looking as you, and not as eager and passionate, and not as experienced like you, my man Mike, Jesus, you've been at it for what, over 30 years? Anybody can do this. Anybody can do this. Do the homework, do the research, do the planning, execute the way I outlined it, and watch that within some time, you will start seeing results. That's just how it is. That's how it's done. Helpful? What do you guys say? Seem to like it. Dantika says, Borino, I'm so excited to be part of this event. Chris apparently speaks, this sounds like Japanese or Urdu to me. Very nice. All right. That's what I wanted to share with you today, guys. That's how you do it. It's doable. You can do this with some tools and some information and patience and building your skills, communication skills, marketing skills. You can absolutely pull this off. You can absolutely do it. All right. So with that, I wish you all safe, fun, happy Halloween. Appreciate every single one of you. If there's anything I can do, you want to come on board of one of my systems, you want to talk to me about that, or you need help, you post questions, pop them right here on YouTube or here on Rockstars. I'll be more than happy to address them. All right. Felix says, thank you, Borino. Irina, really enjoyed it. Good. Glad you guys enjoyed it. My pleasure. I'll talk to you real soon. Coach Borino signing off. As always, let's go out and get them. Plenty of business out there for you. I'll talk to you soon. Ciao.